Hey guys! So, today my dreadlocks are turning 3 years old. Happy birthday, dreadies! Happy birthday! I think it's sick, like I've had these for 3 years. It's weird. But to celebrate them, I've decided that we're gonna go through the last 3 years, from the very beginning to where I am now, with pictures and me talking about my dreadlocks and the process. And I really hope you enjoy it, because a lot have happened, and sometimes when you're in the beginning of a dreadlock journey, or at least it was like that for me, you don't really know what you are like waiting for. You don't really know where your dreadlocks can get you, and it would just be fun to look back on my journey with you guys today, because my dreadlocks are turning 3 years, so let's do it. So, the first picture. I had my dreadlocks started in May 2013, and it was just 2 days after my 19-year-old birthday. And this is the first picture that was taken, and it is taken in the shop in which I had them started. And just look how big and insane my hair looks at that moment. It's just crazy. But that was the first moment, and yeah, I look a bit concentrated, I don't know, but I was so happy on that day. It was just amazing. So my dreadlocks were made with the method called back combing, and then I also had some real human hair extension added to my own hair, because I thought my own hair was really short and I wanted some long and beautiful dreadlocks. So that was a decision that I made, and yeah. So you can see here, this is about a week after I got my dreadlocks started, and I was at a party, and yeah, you can see that it is like baby dreadlocks. They're like really young and they're so close to my scalp. Like the first 3 nights I had my dreadlocks, I couldn't sleep on my head because they were so tight and so close to my scalp, and they were just hurting. My scalp was so sensitive, and yeah. This is after 1 month, and you can see that they're like slowly starting to not look so tight anymore, but just loosen themselves a bit, also like up here at my scalp. But what I remember from the beginning was that there were a lot of maintenance to do. Daniel helped me a lot, because there were like some of my dreadlocks needed to be back combed afterwards also. So Daniel helped me. I can't remember if we started already like after 1 month. I don't think we did. I think it was about like after 2 or 3 months we started to like really work on them. So this were after 2 months, and it looks kind of similar to the one we just saw. But I was still really happy about them. The picture you're looking at right now, this black and white one where I'm smiling, I've just seen it like everywhere online. I think it's the most popular picture that has ever been taken of me. I found it so many places. But I just want to say, this is like after my 2-month mark. So it was like baby dreadlocks at this point. So after 3 months it was still about the same. Like they were still baby dreadlocks. They needed to be worked on. But I love them so much. I love this picture. I think it's so cool. I just wanted to add it. If you are following me on Instagram, you know that I love photography, and this, I just think it's so cool. Like, it's so old school. But it doesn't matter, I'll move on. So I've just put in a picture of my dreadlocks when they were 5 months and 7 months, but it was still pretty much the same. Like, they're still baby dreadlocks at that point. The only thing that changed from like the beginning to about month 5 or 7 is that you don't have to maintain your dreadlocks to keep them in dreadlocks anymore. Like they didn't keep unloosen themselves as they did in the beginning. So some people say that they're mature at the age of like 5 to 7 months or something like that, but it isn't like mature, they're just not loosening themselves anymore, if that makes sense. So let's just move on to month 11. On this picture you can see that there's been some changes. We're now in month 11, and you can see that some of the extension that I had added to my own hair, they have been falling out. Like the length of my dreadlocks, they're like really changing from like dreadlock to dreadlock. It also looks like I've dyed my hair. I probably have. I think they're brown at that time. They look kind of brown. But I think it's about month 11. You start to see now that they have actually matured a bit. But let's move on to month 12. I'm really sorry about this picture. I think it's quite weird that it was like my 1 year mark and I can't find a better picture from that month. But I'm sorry guys. But you can see that the same thing is going on here. There is extensions that are falling out. There is also like shrinking, which is also going to happen. It's also part of the process that my dreadlocks have been shrinking. I can't say that. Month 14, it's still pretty much the same deal. They are starting to really shrink and I'm losing my extensions, which I at this point actually thought was okay. So now we're gonna jump a bit to month 18. It is now fall time. You can see that on the leaf that there is in front of my face. They're still pretty crazy, but I think it is about this time that you can say my dreadlocks have turned into like proper dreadlocks. It is difficult to say because dreadlocks just change so much over like 3 years. It's insane. But I think it's about now that they were like dreadlocks. I also think this was about the time I started to give up on maintaining a lot. I just let the loose hair be loose. I didn't really maintain new growth and stuff like that anymore because my hair really took care of that itself. And in many ways it was just about this time that my hair was dreadlocks, like proper dreadlocks. So now we're in month 23 in April 2015 and I decided to dye my hair with this crazy color in green, and I got a lot of hate from that online because people thought I had mold in my hair. I didn't. Like, people should really stop commenting on things they know nothing about. But my hair looked like this, and obviously it has shrinked a lot. This is my own length because I decided to cut out the rest of the extensions because like there were no point that some of my dreadlocks had a certain length and some of them had another length. So I just decided to cut them out and my hair was green and really spring-like, I think. Just look at this picture with the flower in my hair. I really feel like my dreadlocks look mature and they look good at this point. Also, just the thought of it was like completely my own hair. That is kind of a nice thought. I don't know, it's just nice. So after 24 months, which is 2 years, my dreadlocks look like this. You can see that the green dye have faded, and there's a reason for that because it was a struggle. A big struggle to get the dye out of my hair again. It was like insane. Green dye is mad. But I think my dreadlocks look good at my 2 years mark. I was still really happy about them. So in month 26 I actually feel like my hair is starting to grow instead of just keep shrinking. You can also see that I finally managed to get pretty much rid of the green dye. I have to admit that even here in like at my 3 year mark I still have some green dots around, like in my dreadlocks. There is like some places where there's a bit of green left, and yeah, it has been a struggle to get it out and get it covered. So that's just how it is. But you can see at this point I've dyed my hair and it is covering the green like pretty well. So now we're at month 30 and I start to recognize myself because I started to brush out some dreadlocks, and as you can see, I have a lot of loose hair at this point, which is like the style I'm going for now. You can see all of this here, or most of it is like loose hair, and also the length of my dreadlocks are like completely my own hair, and it has been that for a couple of months at this time, When my dreadlocks turned 31 months old, it was in December. In the beginning of the month, they looked like this. I think they look good, they look mature, I think they look cool. But at the end of the month, I decided to put in or add extensions to my dreadlocks. That is what you can see on that picture right there. I look really happy, and I was. It took me a long time. I think it took me about 24 hours. I worked on them like over a couple of days, where it was like pretty much the only thing I did. And since I did it completely on my own, my fingers were bleeding and it was hurting so much. But I was so happy about the results, and as you can see, no, I'm not supposed to say that. That was in month 31. In month 34, I think they were looking good, really good still. Actually, I haven't done a lot of maintenance while I've had in the extensions. The extensions have really like embraced my own hair in a really good way, so that is amazing. But I think the reason why they're holding on to my own dreadlocks so well is because my own dreadlocks were pretty old at the time I added the extensions. If my dreadlocks would have been really young, they wouldn't have been as compact, and in that way they wouldn't have held on to the extensions as well as they've done, and therefore I think there would have been a lot more work if my dreadlocks were like really young when I put them in. But because they are like pretty old, it has been a really easy thing to do, and it haven't at all needed a lot of work afterwards. It was only like the 24 hours putting them in, and afterwards I think I've used not even an hour just working on a couple of dreadlocks, so it's been really easy. But we are now at month 36, my 3 years mark, and you can look at me. We don't really need a picture because this is where I'm at now. I don't think a lot have changed since like the last picture. It has still just been really easy. I've pulled out 2 extensions because it felt like they were like letting go, but really they weren't. I just had to pull a lot to rip them apart from my own dreadlocks, but it just felt like they were holding on to like not enough hair, so I just decided to pull them off. But I talk a lot about my dreadlocks in my videos, so if you like dreadlocks, you should get subscribed to my channel. I have a lot of videos about how to maintain your dreadlocks, how to deal with new growth, how to deal with dreadlocks coming together as Congo dreadlocks, about all sorts of different things, about deep cleansing your dreadlocks, about washing your dreadlocks. You can find all of that on my YouTube channel, so you're more than welcome here. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up, and yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Bye guys!